You've worked with Stephen and obviously care about Stephen. What efforts to accommodate his disabilities were you able to do at the Technology Center?
Well, we can always change up our training. Our instructor, we can teach them different ways to do things, and then sometimes we just have to make them understand there's certain things in the job you're not going to be able to do, and so don't tempt them, don't aggravate what you've got. Focus on the things that you can do.
How difficult is it as an administrator to convince those people who are instructors that they have to make a complete exception for a given person because of the disability?
It's not unusual for us to make exceptions because we're self-paced training, but an instructor can't spend all day with one student. When they've got 20 students back there, they have to they teach to the group, and you hope that most everybody can pick up and do what's assigned. But there's times that occasionally an instructor just has to kind of break off and work. And Stephen demanded time sometimes. He would request more time simply because he couldn't pick up on things sometimes, or physically he couldn't do things.
It's one of the hardest things to accommodate the mood issues, the anger issues, the frustration.
They generally came, the mood issues, you could pretty much tell when he came into school in the morning. Some of the anger issues, they were usually triggered. He would just have disagreements with other students. Sometimes Stephen would say things he shouldn't, somebody take exception.
One of the criteria for Social Security disability is the inability to work in a work environment without distracting other coworkers. Is that an area that you think it would be difficult to accommodate?
Absolutely. When they had the hearing, I told him, I said, Stephen won't work anywhere directly under supervisor, that if the supervisor says something cross to him, Stephen, he will probably wind up getting fired because of shooting off something bad.
That situation is actually worse with coworkers because you don't have the same inhibitors about that you have. You don't tell your boss, whatever. He had more problems with students than other
absolutely,
students.
yes.
Describe those.
Some of them were just, I guess some of them were just cultural, maybe just deep South stuff, I don't know. Some of it had to do with maybe some of the students sometimes thought Steve was he was getting more attention than he should, more than they would. Some of them, I think, just felt like maybe Steve was getting shown a little favoritism, even though we don't feel like he was. They just wanted the same amount of time from the instructor.